Bradley, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. And let's start here and talk about your connection with Build and how you got started and what the importance is for you being a part of such a powerful organization.
Yeah, well, Cameron, what I would say is that Build and number one, been around since 1969, serving communities. And how I first learned about Build, I used to work at the Cook County Juvenile Detention Center, and Build was inside of the building providing life skills and readiness programs for young people who were in the system. And so from there, I've worked with nonprofit for more than a decade and always knew Build. And I got in contact through community engagement and came on over. I was offered a position there, and so I got involved because, as I mentioned, I used to work at Juvenile Detention Center, and so I was looking for programs that were dedicated to young people who are justice involved, and Build is just that organization.
Yeah, and being dedicated is really such an important part in these children's lives because with some communities that they're from and just the negativity around them, it's hard for them to stay on the right path. But Build is always making sure that they're walking step by step with these kids. So when you think about just how Build has been able to impact so many youth across the city of Chicago over the number of years that has been in existence, what does that do for you and what does that mean for you when it comes to how you're bettering the city of Chicago?
When I think about that question, Cameron, I think about myself growing up in the Austin community on the west side of Chicago, and how as I grew up, I couldn't wait to leave the community. I didn't have a positive connection to my neighborhood and to my community. And so having something like Build, and so Build is what I love about Build. Build is founded, there's some three core pillars for Build, and that's intervention, prevention, and education services. So those three combined are the basics, but then it's wrapped around with mental health support. There's also enrichment services, which is the arts and sports and other activities of music production and everything else. And so for me, I love the fact that it offers cool and innovative activities that takes and captures the interest of young people. Because it's one thing to say, put the guns down, don't join a gang and all that. But if you want them to put a gun down, you have to put something else in their hands and in their heart and in their head. And so I'm connected to Build for those reasons, is because it's more than just talk. It's dedicated mentors. So we serve about 2,500 kids a year, and ranging from 6 years old all the way through to mid-20s, but constantly engaging them and walking with them step by step.
Wow, that is so impactful, especially when you say that, the slogans that people use of putting the guns down, but it's what you're doing after that. And you're saying that Build puts something in the hearts, the heads, and the hands of the children. So what are those success stories that you've been able to experience with a lot of kids that have transitioned and made the change from a lifestyle that would have led them down the wrong path to a lifestyle where they're going to be a very productive person, not only in Chicago, but the world?
Yeah, well, you know what? I can give you many examples, and I'll give two. There's one young man, we call him Scooby. His name was Adolfo, and how he came to Build. Actually, he was mandated by the court to come to Build. He had to get service hours, community service, and he hated it at first. But then little by little, our Arts Academy, the manager, his name is Rick, he took Scooby under his wing, and he started teaching him art. Now Scooby he did tag in for gangs and stuff like that. And what ended up happening is that Scooby started coming back, and then doing art, and then being engaged as a leader where he was teaching younger people art. And now I'm happy to say that he works with us full time, and now he's the manager of our after school program at our Austin site. And so took him from the streets out of the system, and now he's giving back. And I mean, I have a number of other ones. We have a partnership with the Obama Foundation, My Brother's Keeper initiative. And so we have some young men who what they're doing is they're working, and we took them under our wings as mentors, and we're teaching them to be the next iteration or generation of Build staff working with youth. And there's one young man, I'm not gonna say his name this time, but he actually went from hanging out to now he's mentoring a younger cohort. So he's just graduated, and now he's mentoring elementary age kids and teaching them and mentoring them. And he's leading the sessions and the class rap sessions, circles, and all that. And so this is constant cycle of giving back.
Yeah, and I know that Scooby and the other young men that you mentioned are just two of many that have been able to change things around within their lives and change the trajectory of their lives because they have the resources that Build provides. And you touched on the partnerships that Build has. And one specific partnership that you have is with Comcast, and with Build being one of the lift zones. So can you explain what that partnership is with Comcast and the importance of what a lift zone is for Build and the communities?
Right. Well, just to put it plain and simple, that lift zone enables Build to become a beacon, literally a hotspot for a community where there's a lack of access to internet. You would think that everybody has internet. That is not true. Everybody has access to Wi-Fi. That's not true. Nothing displayed that more than over the past year through the pandemic and when schools were shut down and students had to work from home. And so with us having a partnership with Comcast in the lift zone, not only are parents and community members able to access internet, but then we actually have students who come to our site and we work with them while the parents are able to go to work or wherever they have to go. And we actually do education and school support with them. Thankful to Comcast for really pumping us up to have the capacity and capabilities to serve the greater community.
Especially within this technology world that we live in is driven by that. And for kids to be able to have that access really plays a crucial part in their development and their education. So I know that that partnership has paid off in so many ways that we don't even know now with Build and also Comcast. Bradley, I'll ask you this. You've been involved with Build for a number of years and have seen so many success stories. So for you, what's been the one thing that stood out throughout your time with Build and what you've been able to do from an individual standpoint, but also as a collective unit with Build and how you're changing Chicago?
Yeah, well, you know, Cameron, that's a $1 million question that it just makes me full of so much excitement. Number one, because Build is based in the neighborhood I grew up in. Build works with teens. Although they work with all these ages, they work with young people who seldomly get the opportunity. Our work is based on helping our young people overcome systemic barriers so that they can realize their potential. And so personally, I'm excited as a Black man serving brown and Black young people, their families, their community, our parents, our police department, the schools, everybody come to us. And we get referrals from all over the place because they know when a young person comes to Build, they're going to be touched with everything. So whether it's technology, arts, sports, mentoring, mental health services, trauma support, all those things. And so that's why I'm so excited to be a part of a dynamic organization that keeps on moving the needle.
And Bradley, your energy and excitement is transferring into me because I'm excited about what Build is doing and what it will do for the future. And so for those watching, I know they're excited as well. So if they want to get more information and maybe find out the website to Build and how they can get involved in any capacity to help just further strengthen what Build is in Chicago, where can you direct them?
Right, they go right online at www.buildchicago.org. And so we're on Facebook, Twitter, and everything else. And so look out for us. Come and check us out. Come visit us.
Bradley Johnson, thank you so much. We appreciate your time for speaking on Build Chicago. And thank you, more importantly, for how you're changing the city of Chicago and our youth.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.